This means that they can send me back to Nigeria. If you don't pass and the school, terminates your program, what are you doing in the USA? You have to go back home, right? I was sad for the whole day. It's not like I did not know that I was going to be on probation. I knew I was going to be on probation, girl. I know. You worked so hard, to come to this place, and then your dream is about to be. So at this point, I started crying after reading this letter. I didn't want to tell my parents because it will break their heart, and I don't want to give my parents high BP. I failed the robotics class. I lost my self-esteem. Let me just say that. Our records indicate your cumulative GPA has fallen below the required 3.0. You are therefore placed on probation for the upcoming semester. Aladi, you can do this. You can do this. I feel so nervous. I feel so nervous. Oh, I can do this. I can do this. Yes. It's been a journey. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Aladi Akoh, and I make educational videos. I inspire people with my story, my personal experience, my journey to the USA. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, please at this moment consider subscribing. So I am just going to come out to you guys. I feel vulnerable, but it's fine. I told you guys I'll be sharing raw life experiences. I'm going to come out as it is. I am not going to pretend that everything is rosy. Right from the first day I landed in this country, it has been one trouble to another, but I consider myself an overcomer, and this is why I am coming out. It's hard for me to show the world my other side, the side that I have failed, the side I have not done well. And I hope this story inspires some of you who are currently on academic probation. Let's not pretend. Somebody beside you might be on academic probation, but you never know, because people don't even speak up sometimes. Yeah, which I understand. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be looked down on, because once you say you're on academic probation, people are like, this one is not serious with their studies. Probably this one is a dullard, or like this one is too dumb. And people might start judging you for various reasons. So I just want to come out in this video and just tell you guys the whole story. Quick story: in the year 2018, I left Nigeria, specifically in the month of August. I came here to start my master's degree, and in my first semester, what happened? I knew, let me just this is a story time. I hope I can coordinate this story and don't miss any part of it, because everything is really important at this point. Before leaving Nigeria, I knew, like, I'm this kind of person that if I want something, I do a lot of research. I sacrifice my time. I put in a lot of time. I put in the work, and so long as I know that this is what I really want. So when I was in Nigeria, I was doing a lot of research. I was looking at the school's website, the academic requirement and stuff like that. And I knew that once you go below 3.0, you are going to be on academic probation. So my background in computer science, I wouldn't say is so good. I code, but my coding skills compared to when I came here was nothing, literally nothing. It was not as good as it is right now. Right now it's not very like, it's not the best, but there has been a drastic change. Like, there's a lot of improvement. So I was looking at the requirement, I was looking at the courses. I'm like, God, I might end up on probation. Or I told myself that no, the way the courses are, I started picturing this thing, and I was like, I might be on academic. So I already prepared myself. I knew that there's something like academic probation, and if I don't get through the first semester, I might land on this thing called academic probation. So when I came with the intention of studying computational sciences and robotics. The school, I wanted computer science, and at the same time I wanted to do something different. I mean, my bachelor's degree was in computer science. I wanted to have a taste of some mixture, but still in the field of computer science. So when I came and I looked at the website for School of Mines, where I'm currently attending South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, and I looked at their website. They didn't have anything like masters in computer science. I saw computational sciences and robotics, and I was like, wow, this is cool. I started making research about robotics. Dad, if you're watching this video, my dad too, he was doing research. He was worried for me. He was like, are you sure you know things about robotics? Are you sure you're going to be able to cope? So my dad will look up things on the internet, and he will share links with me and say, you need to read this thing, look at this, is about robotics. I found this. So both of us were excited, and yeah, that was how I ended up coming for computational sciences and robotics. And when I came, I started the class. I mean, the first semester I registered, you know, for I think about 4 courses, but I dropped one, and here is why. When I came, they actually registered me for one parallel computing, introduction to robotics, and seminar. Seminar is a 1 credit class. So I started the class. Oh no, before starting, I went to the professor. Okay, I also registered for independent study. I can't remember how many credit that is. I think maybe 1 credit. I went to the professor that was supposed to take me on that independent study. If you don't know what independent study is, please, at this point, pause this video, Google academic probation, Google independent study, so that you can flow with this gist. So I went to the professor. I told him that it looks like I don't want to do this, because the independent study was more of checking my programming skills and all that. I was like, I want the class that there will be a lot of programming assignments, because I want to like develop my programming skills and, you know, improve. And he's like, okay, we talked about it. That class is 4 credit class, the programming class, and introduction to robotics is also a 4 credit class, and then the seminar is 1 credit, that is 9. And then if I were to take the parallel computing, which is 3 credit, it would have been 12 credits. So we went to see the HOD at that time, and we talked to my advisor first, and then both of us we went to the HOD and we told him about it. The HOD was like, no, he will advise I drop one of the classes, that this is going to be too much for me, especially since this is my first semester. I bless God for that day, because if I had taken those classes, it would have been worse. I decided to drop parallel computing, obviously. So I went with robotics, the programming class, and the seminar, making it 9 credit, which is the minimum for you to have, you know, teaching assistant and tuition reduction and stuff like that. So I registered for that class and I started the class, and you know, things were going so crazy, because if it's a 4 credit class, we went to lectures on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Friday. We only had Tuesday to rest, and I was also a teaching assistant then I wasn't really doing a lot for my teaching assistant work. It was more of grading, that was the job, and proctoring. So it was not too much, because the school, I kind of like thank my faculty members, like I think the professors, because they were so understanding. I opened up to them, I went to them and I told them I don't know how this is going to be, and I was just, I don't know what to say, I don't know the word to use, and I opened up. I just let them know the real state of things, and they, you know, they were there to support me. So when we started the class, things were going so crazy, because in the robotics class today we are doing mechanical engineering, tomorrow we are talking about electrical engineering, tomorrow we are doing something in physics, tomorrow mathematics. It's introduction to robotics, right? So you want to know about robots, so they have to introduce you to all the aspects. So it was like, it was a combination of so many classes, computer engineering and what have you not, in one class. It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. And then I had this other 4 credit class, which, you know, is a programming class, right? Every week programming, this assignment, back to back projects and everything. Gosh, it was becoming, I was not doing so well anymore. And in my other class, I was struggling. I was just absolutely struggling to just stay in school. And I went to my professor. I told him that this is what is going on. This is it. And he kept on telling me that you can do it, we believe in you. I don't know, but I called my friend, my close friend who is here in the USA. I told her this is what I'm going through, and I don't know, I am so frustrated. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I have already failed these classes. And she was like, the thing I picked up from one of the conversations I had with her was that she's like, don't be that student who will show up on during the finals week, you know, going to meet your professor for the very first time and let your professor know about, like, you are already coming when the semester is almost over. Be the student that your professor already knows. Like, go to them every day, try to, you know, not like every day, but make sure you go for office hours and all that. So I took something from that conversation. Before then, don't come for me and tell me that I was not serious with my studies. See, if you know me on a personal level, you will know that, like, if you've been in the same class with me, you know that I'm one of the best students in class. I'm not bragging, but I have not really experienced this kind of failure in my life before. So I was just like, you know, one of those people that, you know, people like Aladi, she knows what she's doing, she got this and stuff like that. So I am not I was taking my academics seriously. I was studying, I was doing my homeworks, I was trying, just that I wasn't understanding. I was struggling a lot. And look at, I would go to school in the morning like 8 a.m. and I come back midnight, 12 midnight. That is when I come home, and I just once I come home, sometimes I shower quickly and go to bed, and the next day I wake up about 6 or 5 a.m. or and get ready to leave the house by 7:45. So this was my routine during weekends. In fact, after church service, church will close. When I come home, I will go to school. I will just come back, change, and take my school bag, take food, and go to school. So I was diligent. I was studying. It was just that I was not really understanding, and I had no friends. I mean, I'm going to make a special video on things I wish I knew before I started my master's degree, or things I wish I knew before choosing computer science, or something around that nature. So don't even say that I was not serious. I was serious with my studies. My friends that know me would testify to that, or they can attest to that. Long story short, at the end of the day, I was always going to the professors. I was going to their office hours. There's the programming class. In fact, the professor right now, he's my advisor anyway. He knew that like anytime there is office hour, Aladi is the first person to be there. I'm always that first. I'm already waiting. Once it's time for office hour, I'm already there waiting for help. I think there was a time I went to his office hour and he was asking me stuff, and I was telling him that I don't understand. And he was like, "Did you read it?" And I was like, "I read it." And he was like, "You did not understand it? You did not understand it?" I was like, "Yes, I didn't." I'm this kind of person. I'm very straightforward. I can't pretend. When I don't understand something, I cannot come and lie to you that I do understand this thing. I was reading, I was studying, I was trying to code those things. It was another level. So, and the other professor who was taking robotics, I also went to him. I'll go for his office hour, like teaching me some of the math and things like that. So I had the project partner, and along the line there was one big final project, and my project partner, at first I was even scared. I was like, who's going to even accept to partner with this girl? I mean, I was like feeling, I don't know, at that point I lost my self-esteem. Let me just say that. I was feeling like I just don't know what I'm doing. It was just, this story is going to be all over the place, forgive me, but this was how I was feeling. And luckily for me, someone tested me in the class, and I was like, "Oh, would you mind if I am your project partner, or will you like to?" I was like, "Woo, this is good." So we became project partners, and we tried in the middle of working on the project and stuff like that. My project partner, something happened, and he got out of school for some time. He couldn't come physically, and that was when I was like, "Wow, no more project partner." But later I got a project partner, and we completed the project. We had a B. It was a self-driving robot, self-driving car, like, yeah, with using computer vision and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, when results were out, I had C in that class. And for the programming class, the professor was like, "Okay, I'll give you more time to complete it, and I'm going to put in complete grade." That programming class is an undergraduate class, so it doesn't count towards my graduation, and it doesn't count towards my graduate GPA. So that was totally out of it. So because at the point I gave priority to my robotics class, because I knew even if I pass this programming class and I fail my robotics class, it is going to be on my transcript, and there is no way they're never going to erase it. If you fail a class in graduate school, it's going to be on your transcript, even if you retake that class. So it was time to weigh my options and choose what I know that will be more beneficial to me. So at that point, I stopped at that programming class. I stopped caring, and not like I stopped caring entirely, but I was not giving it my all. I had to channel all my energy to this class. Remember, this is 4 credit, 8 credit, and the other one is 1 credit, so total of 9 credit. So the professor also was understanding, and he was like, "Okay, I'm going to leave your grade as incomplete, so focus on getting your graduate class done, and we can talk about the undergraduate class later." Well, that was how I continued, and at the end of the semester I failed the robotics class. I had a C in a 4 credit class in graduate school. No sweetheart. And the graduate CGPA at the end of that semester was 2.4, and my overall GPA was like 1.3, like if you combine the undergrad class, because obviously I had no grade, because it's like a 0. So it was like 1.3, and my graduate CGPA, they are going to judge me really based on my graduate GPA anyway, so my GPA was 2.4, and that's below 3. And the school has this policy that if you're below 3, you can't get any assistantship, you can't get any form of help again. because you are below. Graduate assistantship and all those things, the funding are reserved for students who are doing exceptionally well. So your girl has dropped, and the funding I had was for 1 year. That means 9 months academic section, August to May. Yeah. So at that point, I did not know what was going to happen to me, if I was going to still be given the assistantship or not. But one good thing is that during this period, I carried my professors along. I let them know what I was going through. I even went to talk to the HOD at that point. I told him, this is what is going on. What do you think? Am I going to lose my funding? And he's like, he wasn't really specific, but that was just it anyway. So I made sure I carried them along. Towards the end of the semester, I think they were about changing the HOD or something like that. So, and the person that was going to be the new HOD was the person who taught me the robotics class. So I went to discuss with him, talking to him about, I don't know what is my, what's going to happen to my funding, especially with the whole saga. He was like, well, he signed a petition on behalf of me. Like, he wrote to the graduate school that, just, I don't know, like, this is why I believe in hard work and I believe in God. Even before this whole thing, I was telling my parents, you guys need to pray for me. I don't know what's going on, the whole stress. And my first semester, I forgot to add that I had a scholarship which got terminated, and I came here and it was like I was stranded. I probably should make a separate video on it. I don't know, but I don't think if I want to do that. So I was not emotionally, I was not stable. A lot of things were just going wrong in my life at that point, cultural shock and a lot of things, and it was just not quite it. So I was really surprised when he said I already did the paperwork and you're going to be funded for the next semester. We are not going to take your funding, but you just need to prove to us that it is worth it. And he was like, I believe in you. I believe you're going to do this. I was like, God, I bless God. I thank God for the people around me. I thank God for the kind of professors he has blessed me with. So that was it, and I was kind of rest assured that I was getting funded for the next semester. God was so faithful, because it's written on the website that if you are even if they're going to give you a section, your GPA has to be somewhere between, is it 2.7 and something, I can't remember. My GPA was lower, way lower, 2.4, and I got my funding retained. I mean, this is so good. Like, this is so good. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I appreciate you. You are worthy to be praised. So what happened the next semester? On January, I'm going to read the letter I got officially from my school. So I got this letter written, enrollment status, Rosemary Akoh. Hello, Rosemary. Rosemary is like my other name. Our records indicate that your GPA was below 3.0 at the end of the fall term, which results in a probation status. It has been reported that you are working hard on your studies, and I am confident that you can overcome this. Please continue to work closely with your department representatives regarding your progress this term. Best wishes for a successful semester. So now there was a PDF file attached to this email, and here is the real thing. The subject of the email, the letter is Notice of Probationary Status. Date January 16, 2019 to Rosemary Akoh from Office of Graduate Education. Probation/grade requirements. Our records indicate your cumulative GPA has fallen below the required 3.0 after the most recent past semester. You are therefore placed on probation for the upcoming semester. The academic catalog states a student must maintain a B 3.00 or better grade at points average, that's GPA, in all 300 through 800 level courses that appear on the graduate transcript at SDSM&T. If your grade point average, that's your GPA, does not improve above the minimum at the end of the probationary semester, additional measures may be taken. These measures may include termination of your academic program at this university. At this point, you know what was going through my mind. Assistantships are not available to students on probation unless an exception is granted by the Dean of Graduate Education. I am that one lucky child, that blessed child. I call myself blessed because I am one of these exceptions. Questions or concerns regarding your probationary status should be directed to your major professor, department head, program coordinator, one of those people. You may also contact the office of graduate and best wishes for a successful semester. And then they copied the department head, my advisor, the international office, and student file. So at this point, I started crying after reading this letter. I was sad for the whole day. It's not like I did not know that I was going to be on probation. I knew I was going to be on probation, girl, I know. But it was official at that moment. And you know what, you've labored so hard, you've worked so hard, to come to this place, and then your dream is about to be, I don't know. So that was how I was feeling. I was in tears, I was crying, I didn't know what to do. I told my close friend about it, and I didn't want to tell my parents because it will break their heart, and I don't want to give my parents high BP, like high blood pressure. I don't want that. And all I was telling them at that point was that things are not really going well. You guys should keep me in your prayer, and and all that. I didn't really want to tell them that the school sent me a letter that this means that they can send me back to Nigeria. I mean, if you don't pass and the school, terminates your program, what are you doing in the USA? You have to go back home, right? This part of the story is going to be how I, made plans to get out of the probation ASAP, as soon as possible. I told myself, girl, even before this official letter came in, I started making plans. I told myself that, well, I know this is going to happen. You should be grateful to God that your funding has not been taken away from you. If